My bully stepdad threw away my things and pressed charges against me over $3, so I made him regret everything. When I was 16, my mom started dating a man she met online, and within 2 months, he moved in. Just 3 weeks later, he took my skateboards, my self-built half-pipe, my ramps, BMX bike, and my ice hockey gear, and drove it to the junkyard while I was at school. He said he didn't want all of my crap cluttering up his garage. I told my mom about it, but by this point, he'd already laid hands on her, so she was too scared to say anything. Not even a month later, he took my comic book collection, my PS2, and all my video games, and once again, threw them away. This time, he said guys my age should be drinking beer and playing football and be small, not being a nerd playing games and reading comics. My mom was again too scared to say anything, and she even agreed with him when he demanded she stop giving me lunch money because the little effer will just spend it on comics and other gay things. I remember one time I took $3 out of his change jar so I could buy a slice of pizza during lunch at school, but my mom saw me and told on me. He actually called the police. It pressed a larceny charge against me over the $3. When the police left, he turned his attention toward me. The next day before school, my mom pressured me to lie if asked about my vase. That same day, my mom told me they were sending me to military school. When I asked why, he piped up saying it was because I was dumb and would never be anything anyway. I had a 3.9 GPA before he came into the picture. When that happened, I just ran away. I wanted the streets for a few weeks before the cops found me, and between having run away and the larceny charge, I ended up in juvie. I got out 6 months later, but by that point, my mom and he had married. I moved back in with them, but because in juvie I had properly learned to fight, my stepdad stopped giving me trouble. I moved out the second I turned 18 and didn't hear a peep from them for about 5 years. But then one day, my mother called me out of the blue. She had terminal cancer, and she told me she was divorcing him. She apologized for everything and asked me to come live with her until she asked. She told me all about their separation agreement and mentioned that he'd have 45 days after her death she would retrieve his belongings from the house. When I heard this, I instantly thought of something. When my mother passed away 9 months later, I visited the house before he did, and as expected, I found all his stuff there. I then got the first part of my revenge. I sold his baseball card collection for $14K, his autographed sports memorabilia for $11K, and his woodworking equipment for $6K. I took his mother's engagement ring, her wedding band, and even his coin collection.